Hey guys, welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast reviews, where today we're going to be reviewing the second season of the Korean BL To My Star. I'm your host Alexa, and with me is my co-host Pixie.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, so for a little synopsis of the season before we get into things, when Han Ji-woo suddenly disappears, leaving nothing but a note stating that they should break up, Kang Sojun is obviously devastated, and despite being determined to move on, throwing himself into work and get over Ji-woo, he simply can't. And when they manages to find him, Sojun is determined to get to the bottom of why Ji-woo left him without a word. So the two are trying to find their way back to each other in the midst of unpacking all of their past traumas and figuring out what happened between them. So the second season of To My Star has 10 episodes at about 25 to 30 minutes each and is available for international fans to watch on both Viki and Gaga Ulala.
Yes.
Yes. I will just say I love this season. I know there was like people had mixed feelings about it because
Yeah.
of the angst and the storyline and everything, but oh, it was so good. It was so well done. I am a sucker for angst when it's well done, and I just thought like the story was just so beautifully done this season, and I
Yeah.
loved every second of it. All the pain, all the tears. I was eating it up.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't usually go towards like things that will make me cry,
Mm-hmm.
but when they're done well like this, I just love it. It's like a bonanza of just like build up and
Mm-hmm.
feelings, and there's so much to like take a hold of, and so many like Easter eggs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can like see the clues, and it's huh. And I mean, if you just take a moment and think about all the season twos you've seen and think about what they usually do with a season two.
Yeah. This is a season two well done. Like,
Yes.
this is what I've always wanted from a season two because, like, if you're going to introduce a conflict or a breakup, like, it needs to be done in a way that makes sense, in a way that just doesn't feel like it's completely ruining the character's development from the first season or coming out of nowhere or throwing in random plot points that did not at all seem relevant in the first season. But
Yeah.
I feel like they did a great job of tying this back to both Jiwoo and Sojun's
Mm-hmm.
personalities and how there were
Mm-hmm.
things that they never really discussed or worked through in the first season when they got together that kind of built up to this moment. And
Yeah.
they did a good job of showing that through, like, especially with Jiwoo's inner monologue, when we kind of
Mm-hmm.
finally get his point of view and
Yeah.
understanding how he felt. But yeah, I feel like they just did a great job of bringing in a conflict and a breakup that was, like, albeit painful, made sense for the characters and their
Mm-hmm.
relationships, which is usually not what we see in a second season.
Mm-hmm. What I really liked is that you have this ex-girlfriend plot,
Mm-hmm.
and usually plot points like that are done really bad. But here you have an ex girlfriend who's in the mix, and it's never it's never Jiwoo who is making Kangsu doubt anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he's misunderstanding the
Yeah.
situation,
He's
but
never
there's
given, yeah,
nothing between
from
Jiwoo
Jiwoo's
and the
end. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just misunderstanding. It's not like you're putting like his love in question,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
He's always been in love. That's not the issue here.
Yeah. Yeah. He was never having, like, thoughts about going back to his ex. And, like, even though that's what the ex wanted, and Kang Seo Joon could
Mm-hmm.
pick up on that, which is why he thought of her as a threat. But, like,
Yeah.
in Jiwoo's mind, she was never back in the picture as
Never.
someone he was going to consider getting into a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of ties back into the conflict making sense for their personalities, because Sojun having that insecurity about Jiwoo's ex partner and that jealousy is, like, very fitting for his character, and the kind of, like,
Mm-hmm.
jumping into this thought of, like, what she could be without communicating that with Jiwoo, which obviously in this situation they weren't really in a place where they were communicating with each other at all. But like I think
Yep.
him being jealous of her and seeing her as competition is like very fitting for his insecurities that he has about people leaving
Mm-hmm.
him and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the reason why I see some people not liking the season is because they don't understand what's going on. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it is people just not like it's they're expecting a show that's just like gonna be the normal drone through it, like there's not much thought having like
People wanted
you're
fluff.
spoon fed
They wanted
everything.
they wanted fluff, and when they realized that this season involved a breakup plot, I think that people already kind of had went into it with like this season is gonna suck, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't something that was easily worked out, so that was not fun for not everyone enjoyed watching that. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people just wanted fluff, and obviously that is not what we got this season, and so I think they didn't
Yeah.
even try to like understand the complexity of like the character
Um,
dynamics and development
mm-hmm.
that was going on, because they had
Mm-hmm.
written it off from the get-go, basically knowing
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to be on the angsty side of things.
Yeah. And I think there's also like an aspect of culturally, like how you understand how this is going, like the emotions going into it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of culture behind how they act. And
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and it's
definitely.
hard for people to understand, especially like if you haven't seen much of it before.
Mm-hmm.
And we do
Yeah.
jump a lot between a lot of countries when we're watching BL. So it's sometimes a little bit hard to understand the like underlying reasons why people are doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a problem understanding how some like especially Asian countries are very very respectful towards older people no
Mm.
matter what,
Yeah.
and that's just not my upbringing. Like we like even when I went to America and I like had to call my teachers by their last names like Mr. and Mrs. That's weird to me. Like we call
Yeah.
our teachers by their first name.
Oh, see, yeah, like that's weird to
Yeah.
me. Like, yeah, I feel like there's definitely like different hierarchies of like respect for elders, and
Yeah.
like in Asian countries, it's very like respecting your elders, no matter who they
Hmm.
are, is like
Yeah.
top of the line, no matter if they've
I
done you
have never
wrong.
in Norwegian called someone Mr. or Mrs. throughout my life. And that has nothing to with lack of respect or
Yeah,
anything
it's
like
just your
that. I'm not a
culture. Yeah,
rebel. I'm just saying. No one, not even friends, parents, no one. We don't have that
like prefix, kind of.
social
Yeah,
prefix like you need to do this like
yeah,
sort of attitude.
yeah.
It's
Hmm.
we're shy, but like we have a different way of showing respect, and it's
Yeah,
kind of like I won't respect just an adult because they're an adult, because I know there's a lot of fucking idiots out there and I won't pretend to respect them. That's the point there. And that's why we aren't as social. Like in America, you will go around pretending like you like everyone, but you don't.
some
We're
people
just
in
honest about
America.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like showing respect for people even if you don't agree with what they're doing is even
Hmm.
stronger in a country like Korea.
Yeah.
And so you see that with like, even though the elders in
Yeah.
the village side were like really crappy towards Jiwoo because of what happened with his
Yeah,
parents
and
and
it's not his
that whole
fucking
situation,
fault.
and yeah, kind of ostracizing him, he was still constantly respectful towards them. And
Hmm.
um I was honestly like really happy when the ex and his other friend kind of like blew up at them, the
Hmm.
elders, like when they were like doing the pre-screening for the show and they didn't
Yeah.
invite him, and they both like had kind of been fed up at that point. And I was like,
Yeah.
finally, like someone is putting these
Yeah.
old people in their place.
Hmm.
But I understand that that is not a thing that is easy to do in a country like Korea, and it takes a
Hmm.
lot to get to that point. And so
Yeah.
and I think Jiwoo's docile personality and his whole thing of avoiding conflict at any cost, like that's something we never would have seen him do. So it was
Hmm.
nice to see the friends do that on his behalf.
Yeah, and I do wonder, like, that his attitude is like that because of he feels so responsible for what his parents did,
Yeah, I
and
think
how he
so.
was treated in the village afterwards. That it
Yeah,
sort of like made
kind of just
him a
accepted
very
it.
drawn
Hmm.
person, like who
Yeah,
can't do conflict.
yeah, I definitely think that he probably has like grown up with the idea that it's better to just accept what
Hmm.
comes at you as opposed to like sticking up for
Fight it.
yourself and trying to defend yourself or
Hmm. Hmm.
question what's being said about you, that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, i,
Hmm.
I definitely think that probably fed into the way he grew up and his conflict avoidance and how that in turn impacted his relationship with Kang Sojun. um, and I thought it was really interesting because I really liked how they, between both of their inner monologues, we see that miscommunication kind of coming to light and the way their personalities are kind of making it hard for them to be on the same page. Because there's this whole monologue that Sojun had where he was like, I realized that I did my best. I was making so much effort for this relationship that he's never
Hmm.
done for any other relationship in the past, like
Yeah.
leaving work parties and doing all that kind of stuff. But like, despite everything, Jiwoo still felt lonely and like
Yeah.
even though Sojun was the center of his universe, he didn't feel like he was that for Sojun, even though for
Hmm.
Sojun, Jiwoo clearly was the person who had taken priority in his life. So I just really liked how they kind of showed that disconnect between their two inner
Yeah.
monologues and the way they were viewing like the flashbacks and how things happen, like Sojun's birthday and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
I think like Jiwoo in all of this was really um, guilty as well that he was making it so much work for
mm-hmm.
Sojun. Like he was home and available like all the time, but like when he was busy working and went home to see him, I think he felt really guilty about that. Like he's going out of his way to do this when he should rest or should like
Yeah,
he has a
should
busy
go out with like
schedule.
his colleagues and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
definitely.
I think like because I've seen that in friends before that
Mm-hmm.
they feel kind of trapped when their partner is always doing the most to be around them,
Yeah,
and you kind of feel trapped because also like you kind of feel guilty that you're not doing the work.
that you're
Like
not on like the same level that they are. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I definitely,
that
yeah,
there
I
are
can agree with
so
that.
many like dynamics here and
Mm-hmm.
so many layers to these personalities and every character. And yeah,
Yeah,
can
there's a
we
lot at
for
play
one
here.
second talk about like the kiss under the bridge, or was it like when they're sitting and
Yeah, that
the
was.
blood on the lips? I'm just like, my first thought was where your eyes linger, and the line where he says
Mm.
like you're not kissing me with the bloody lips, like what the fuck? And here we are,
Jiwa was like,
a
I'm
kiss.
doing it.
Like fuck it, we are kissing. He's too cute right
Yeah,
now.
I love that moment, and I love that kind of. Oh, the what was he like? How am I supposed to like, how are you so honest with your feelings? How am I supposed to
Mhm.
resist you? Or I
Mhm.
don't think that's the exact translation, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think the moment itself was so good, and I just think it
Mhm.
really shows that no matter how hard Jiwoo tries to like push, he was trying so hard to push Sojun out,
Yeah.
but like it's impossible for him to
Mhm.
do, and like
Mhm.
there is something about Sojun that will always like get to him in a way
Mhm.
that nobody else does, and I just thought it was so good. And
And that was one of the reasons he had to disappear to do this.
mm-hmm,
Like, he knew that he wasn't gonna just be able to leave or be around this person and not have the feels.
yeah,
Like, this was
yeah,
his only out of the situation.
mm-hmm.
And he even, like, named his restaurant, like, I'll be waiting or whatever it is.
The man's was like down so bad. He wanted to
So
pretend he
bad.
wasn't, but like everything he was doing in his actions were showing that he was still doing things for Sojun. Like they
His
had the epilogue of him.
sweater.
Yeah, the
And the ring
sweater,
under
burying
the
the
pillow
ring.
that he
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Even if they had like the epilogue of him like searching Sojun's name to make sure he hadn't been caught up in any scandals or anything like that, like yeah, I think he left because he knew he wouldn't be able to sort his feelings and understand himself while Sojun was still there. And I think there was kind of a mention of that, like everything he was doing and leaving was so that he could eventually go back to Sojun in the end and like be with him wholly and not
yeah.
feel the same feelings he was feeling before. Ugh, but it was just so good.
Yeah, and he was obviously like drawing parallels to his ex-girlfriend who he was on the opposite side of the table with,
Yeah, like
which is
he was
really
the Sojun in
interesting.
that situation. Yeah, you know, focusing so much on cooking that he couldn't,
Give her,
you know, be the relationship that she
yeah.
needed at that time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was really, everything about it was just really well done. And I loved Sojun. I loved his persistence, even though, you know, there were times where I got to the point where I was like, dude, just like,
Why are you
at this
even
point,
trying
yeah.
anymore? Just
Yeah,
like...
at this point, like, let him come back to you. But I think that it was also very fitting for him to be like, I can't leave without hearing the truth from you because
Yeah,
I
he
know that
needs
you're lying
closure.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Even when, like, you know, that after they kiss and Jiwoo was like, oh, well, basically, he was like, we'll be fuck buddies. And Sojin was like, I know you can't do that. Like, you know, he
Yeah.
knew that Jiwoo was lying, and so he couldn't leave without getting that out of Jiwoo until like he hit the moment when he overheard the conversation with the ex and jumped to conclusion.
And there's
basically.
the closure. Like, that's the closure he needed, but he misunderstood the situation.
It was the wrong type of closure.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
You know, the scene, oh my god. The scene where he's talking to the ex-girlfriend and he starts like talking in English and she's like, you want to talk in English, dude?
He's like, no, I'm okay.
That was
He's
so funny.
He's so petty. I love him.
Normally that
really
behavior would be like a little bit obnoxious, but that was really cute.
And the thing is, he is obnoxious and he owns it. So I think that's what makes it endearing about him.
How
like, we
can
know he's petty and
such an
obnoxious.
obnoxious person be so cute? Like, he has so much charisma. It's insane.
Like, every time he's like, as you know, I'm Kang Sojun. I was like, this sounds so pompous, but it's so good
but
coming
it works
from
for him.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, you know what? I feel like we have to talk about how all of those moments that we thought were flashbacks actually ended up being flash forwards to after they had reconciled their relationship. Like the moment on the couch when he was like, oh, stop playing and come work with me. And when he was reading over the script, like we saw all those earlier and like assumed that they were flashbacks from when they were previously in the relationship before Jiwoo left. And then at the end, it turns out that those were all like current time. I thought that was such a good like little spin on those moments, and I loved it so much. I love that they did that. It was so well done. I think that was like probably one of my favorite things about the final episodes.
Yeah. I mean, when you have like a show that goes into flashbacks and all of that, like it can be really confusing at times. But I think they like balanced it well, and it was really obvious what was flashbacks and not.
Yeah, like there were definitely moments that were flashbacks, like the birthday party and that kind of stuff. And then there were those small like fluffy moments that I think a lot of people assumed were flashbacks from before they broke up that they were reflecting on, and then they flipped it and it was like, actually, that is the current time of after they've gotten back together. And I just thought that was really, really clever, and I like that they did that. Yeah. There's just so much that was done so well with this season. Of course, with Hwang Da-sul, you have to talk about like the cinematography and the lighting that she chooses in certain moments and the shots that she chooses and all of that was gorgeous. I think she does a great job of making a drama feel like it's an indie project in the way that it's
Yeah.
shot, but like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously a lot of BLs are still indie in
But
terms
it
of
still has
budget.
like the quality in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it has the indie feel while still having like higher production value than a lot of indie
Mm.
projects often get, and I
Mm.
just love like the way she
I
chooses
think
to
like
linger
her
on certain
style is
shots.
very unique.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
you, if
You
you
saw it
think
in
about it,
Blooming. You saw it in Where Your Eyes Linger. It just sticks
yes.
out. There was a lot of like stylistic shot choices that really made me think of Blooming since that
Mm-hmm.
came out not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, this is very much Hwang
It's,
Da-sul, like very
I
unique
love
directing
her.
style.
And I love like the connection to Where Your Eyes Linger with the character Kim Pil-yeon, the
I love
CEO.
him.
I
He's
love
one of
him
my
too.
favorite people.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters. He goes through it,
He's
but he's
so
so good.
funny. He's so funny. And I love that like he ended up with the reporter.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, who is Babe that he
It's
keeps
the
talking
babe,
about
yeah.
who never has time for him? But it was such a cute little reveal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had good chemistry like in the first season, so I'm
Hmm.
just like, yeah, this is good. But I do love like having sort of we've seen him since he was like a student in school and
Hmm.
now he's the CEO of this company. That gets mentioned in Where Your Eyes Lingers. I love it when you have different shows that are just like have these small like Easter eggs connecting
Hmm.
because they didn't have to
Hmm.
do that. But they
Yeah,
did, and yeah.
yeah. I wanna, cause there was also an Easter egg for To My Star and Blooming, right? They mentioned like Kang Sojun at one point, I think, as like actor Kang Sojun, like celebrity or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or they mentioned To My Star in some way. So I love that she like keeps those like connections going across all of her dramas.
Yeah.
Um, I know I think she said that she doesn't know if she's planning to direct any more BL, but like it would be cool to
Mm-hmm.
see like if she has other projects having more of those Easter eggs from these
Connections.
projects
Mm.
in whatever her next project might be. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love her as a director, and I honestly I will watch anything that she comes
yeah,
up with because it's
yeah.
so good.
I mean, I think she's doing a great job of like
Mm-hmm.
solidifying her style, and I
Mm-hmm.
would love to see her kind of be able to do some more mainstream like stories in the future. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like seeing her style in a mainstream K-drama would be really really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I love her.
Oh, I love that Homan, the manager, decided to become an idol. I just thought that was like really cute and
Yeah.
random. And I
It was very like consistent to how they do stuff in this South
yeah.
Korea with idols and stuff.
And also he's an idol in real life, so like it fits for him
Yeah.
to be like,
Mm-hmm.
actually I am leaving to become a trainee.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really cute. And
Yeah,
I
it
love
was
that
very cute.
I love how what's his name? Pyeongyang, is that his name? Yeah. I
Pelican,
love
yeah.
his Pyeongyang. I love his like reaction to it and how he
Mm-hmm.
was like he gave him a bunch of money so he would be able to support himself and stuff like that. And there was that
Yeah.
shot of him in his office at the end and he was like calling for him, but he's like, "Oh, I'm all alone
He's
now."
not there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I
they
thought that
did
was a cute
so
little
much
moment.
together.
I know.
They were
It
like
was
a
always
small
them
family.
resolving everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love this season. I really did. I thought they wrapped it up well. Um, I thought they did a great job of giving, what's the word I'm looking for? Like all of the side characters, they gave them like good, decent development. Like I loved his friend and I loved the daughter. They were
Yeah.
super fun. She was so cute, and they had a
She
really
was
cute
so
mother-daughter
cute.
relationship. Yunha, that was her name. Oh my
Hmm.
god, she was such a little. I love when they have kids in K dramas like that because they're like little balls of sass, and I just love their characters usually. Um, yeah, I just think they did a great job of all of the new characters that they introduced and still keeping people like Pil Hyun and Homin in the mix and keeping them involved in the story as well.
I think like it was all very connected. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to like just put something in there and lose why it's there. Like why is that person there? Like
Mm-hmm.
connecting everything. But this
Yeah.
was all really well connected together. So
Yeah.
there's a reason for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did a good job of like finding ways to bring everyone together, like Chiwoo's people in the countryside as well as like Homin and Pyeonghyun from Seoul. I really like the moments where they were like they're having dinner together out in the countryside, or that they found ways for them to also like all be involved together, and it didn't feel like out of place, like you said. Like it all felt connected and like it flowed very well with the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I love this season, and I'm kind of like I'm sad that it's like I mean I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe there will be a season 3, but like I feel like we've known that To My Star 2 is happening for so long. It
Yeah.
feels like the end of an era basically now that the second season has finally ended. I'm like
I'm so sad.
I would be here for like a special episode or something if they wanted to do more. I would take anything they want to give me. I don't know if it needs a full third season, but like if they want to do like a movie or something.
Yeah. I mean, I what I really like is that they didn't just give us fluff because that
Mhm.
would be the easy route, and I
Yeah.
don't. These characters, these dynamics, like these layers, they deserve like a proper story and like yeah, I want to see like domestic couple shit too, but at the same time, it's too shallow for these characters for this story to just
Mhm.
do fluff.
Be fluff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they balanced it well. I mean, we got plenty of fluff in the final episode, and I feel like they did a good job of using that to make up for all of the tears and pain that we had gone through previously. And like, it made it more gratifying when we got to see
Mm-hmm.
those moments of
Mm-hmm.
them just being like domestic and cute together.
Mm-hmm.
That we had to like work to get there, basically.
Yeah. I will say this, like Jiwoo was he was I wanted to kill the man. Like he was frustrating me so badly. But then he goes and does like the kiss under the bridge, and I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
god damn it.
I think if I had my one like quip that I had is that I wish we'd seen Jiwoo's point of view just like even an episode or so
Mm-hmm.
sooner. I think it would have made his motivations and the behavior that he was exhibiting like a lot easier to take in,
Mm-hmm.
because he was kind of just being like a straight up asshole for the first like 6 episodes, and it was kind of like I was very much like that's why I wanted Sojun to just leave, because I was like, this man does not deserve you right now.
Yeah.
um, so like if I had one quip, I think it maybe would have been like show his POV a little bit sooner, or kind of
Mm-hmm.
mix it in with the way they were, because most of it took place from Sojun's point of view.
Yeah.
But I think that, when we did get his point of view, it really explained all of his behavior out really well. And like you could look back and see how that influenced the choices he was making. I just wish it had
Mm-hmm.
came just like the tiniest bit sooner. I think that's like my
Mm-hmm.
main like quip that I had with this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm kind of like on the fence about like, or I like sometimes being frustrated by a show because it means I care about it
Yeah,
and I care about the story and it's made me care.
yeah, that makes sense.
So for me, everything I don't really want to change anything because I don't think I'm anywhere near as good as Hwang Da-sol in doing stuff like that. And I usually like overanalyze this shit to the T. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to come with there. Like, she did it as well as she could do this story, no matter
Yeah.
what. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Even though I was crying, I was frustrated, I was angry at times, I was laughing at times. Like, we went through it all.
Yeah. But it was worth it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
It was.
it was beautifully done. 10 episodes of television. And
Mm-hmm.
it was painful, but I enjoyed being on every second of the journey.
Yep.
It was all worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. And we can mention that, like, there's no bad guy in this show.
Yeah, no, not
There's
at all.
no villain.
Like, even the
It's
ex wasn't villainized, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that they, like, gave them the time to, like, work through their relationship and give her closure as well. And, like, obviously she was upset because she wanted to get back together with Jiwoo, and that was, like, something she thought was going to happen. But, like, when she realized that he was still all in for Sojun, she, like, took it with grace, and yeah, she cried about it, but, like, I don't know, I just appreciate that they humanized her, and you know, we're so used to seeing, like, the ex-girlfriend be the villain in BL, so, like, it's always nice when the ex-girlfriend gets, like, an actual storyline. Yeah.
She's not, like, a pure bad person, like, and she's not even a little bit bad. I mean,
she didn't do anything wrong, honestly.
No. Like, it was, like, the only, like, you could say was a bad person, but not really, is, like, the kid who went to the reporters or whatever. But, like, it's a kid listening to adults. It's just showing how stupid it can be when adults are, like, gossiping. And kids pick up everything, and adults might not, like, think over what they're saying, and the kids understand things in a different way, so like, it's not the kid's fault at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do like the little girl, like, giving him, like, a real scolding.
She was so cute.
So badass.
I love that Jiwoo was like, don't go too hard on him.
Yeah,
I love her. She was like the MVP of the season. I feel like she was the queen.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like I know, but we have to ask, since it's the format, what would you rate it out of 5 stars?
5.
Yeah. I think it's a 5 too. And like I said, I know that people had mixed feelings on the angst and the breakup and stuff like that, but it's so beautifully done. I think it's worth every second of pain that you go through, and it's really does justice to the first season and to the characters, and it's definitely worth watching.
Yep. 100%. But obviously you need to watch season 1 first.
Oh, yes. If you haven't watched season 1, what are you even doing
Oh
here?
My god.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Please watch season 1. Yeah. Okay, so I think that is it for our review of To My Star 2. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to let us know what you thought about the series. Drop a comment down on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching this over on Patreon, hit us up in the Discord or in the comments on Patreon as well. We want to know what you guys thought about the series, what you liked about it, what you didn't like. And if you're one of our... Sorry. If you're one of our patrons, be sure to look out for the polls for the next review that we'll be doing. You know, we let our patrons vote exclusively on our reviews for the most part. So if you're interested in doing that, you can find our Patreon link down in the description. But yes, that is all for our review of To My Star 2. And we will see you guys in the next review. Bye.
Bye.